My social
Your
media
Instagram,
account
I suppose.
is Missmajic1, one in the number.
Yep.
Magic spelled MAJICK.
That's your Instagram
That's
account?
Instagram. That's YouTube.
And that's
Okay.
you just hit 28,000 people that follow you. I think that's very impressive. Like, high five on that one.
Thank you. It's pretty mind blowing too.
No, that's epic.
And hosts today, Kit Warren, and also welcome Sunshine Brown.
Hi, thanks for inviting me in today.
Yeah, welcome.
This is going to be a fantastic show. I'm really excited. Welcome to 1620, guys. And I want to say that I've been looking forward to this since I found out about getting you on the show 2 weeks now, and I haven't been able to sleep that much. Honestly,
You're too kind.
I've watched a bunch of your little, I call them episodes. They're basically little daily positive uplifters for a whole community of people. And that you can see that's why you're growing so fast, because you enlighten people's day. You start their practice.
I'm trying to change the world, dude.
You are. No trying in that,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, I'm changing the world.
You are.
One hug, one high five, one dab, one smile at a time.
Perfect. What is
Right.
your favorite dabs? Is it sativa or
Oh, I
indica?
like my
or-
indicas.
Indicas.
I found for a lot of people with PTSD, indicas work really, or sativas, excuse me, work really well. And I like sativa. If
Yeah.
I said indica, I was wrong.
Oh, okay. So you like sativa.
I like
so you
sativa.
like both, really?
No, I really prefer sativas.
Yep.
And I'll reiterate what I was saying. It was a mind blurb. People with PTSD, or a lot of people with PTSD, quite enjoy sativas. They really help them feel grounded.
Yep.
And part of the world, which is really strange because for other people, sativas increase their anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And anxiety is a big part of PTSD.
Totally.
So this is just what I have found from
Yep.
other people who have PTSD. Like,
I've struggled with PTSD myself through the firefighting and through concussions, and I found that the land race sativas were the ones that were maybe high in THCV and did some sort of reconnecting pathways. I don't know what your experience is on that.
I also prefer sativa over indica.
Really?
Yeah. I actually find I have a clearer thought process on the sativa, and I can be way more productive.
indubitably.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indica kind of, I go a little more heady, a little more anxiety sets in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hits my eyes immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not tired, but it hits my eyes. My eyes go half and half.
Yes.
I look stoned.
Yeah.
Well, and it's specifically for resting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
You know.
would be maybe a practice at right before bed or at home.
I've been known to do my
Yeah.
indica just before bed if I'm taking bedtime dabs.
Yep.
If I'm restless and I know I have to sleep,
Then
yeah.
you'll go to the indica.
Oh yeah, and take nice big
Perfect.
globs.
So what were you expecting today? What's your message to the 28,000 followers, and then adding on here, we're going to create some more followers of people that want to see you lead them in a positive manner? Or
I just think we can change the world.
and what's your first way of doing that?
Well, the first way is living a good life, man.
Very
So,
cool.
and the best way to live a good life is to participate. Live your dash
Yep.
and participate.
So being
right?
in the now.
Being in the now, very much so. Yes, here and now.
Cool.
Right now, I'm a homebody.
Yep.
So participation for me, this has been awesome with the Instagram because it gives me an opportunity without having to leave my house. You know, I spent many, many years in and out of mental institutes and all sorts of shit like that. My safety is at home.
Yep.
And I love the woods and stuff, but my safety is at home. You know, you got to kind of prod me to.
To get out from your comfort zone, because
And-
it's almost like a shell. Are you? What's your sign?
Oh, I'm a Gemini.
Gemini. Oh.
I'm a Gemini too.
So am I.
Oh my!
3 Geminis in the room on.
That's
Uh-oh.
scary.
Robin, what are you?
I'm a Libra.
Oh, you're gonna
So keep
balance
you guys
it all
balanced,
out.
I suppose. That's a juggling 3.
So
You'll have to keep the conversation a little focused for us. There's going to be all kinds of.
I guess so. Yeah.
I'm actually, I'm very much looking forward to this year's birthday. I'm hitting 60, and
Oh.
I'm so excited about that.
wow.
Right?
What do you have planned?
Nothing.
Nothing. Well, that's
I
good.
like
And
that.
I'm thinking that the community should come together for me. And and I use a word I don't like using, which is should. But I think it would be real nice if the community came together for me and did something, right?
We would house a party here, that's for sure.
Well,
We've
that's
got
really
room.
good to
We've
know.
got room for it.
Well, that's it. People
And-
said, how about
and-
your place? It's like, I've outgrown my place, and we don't have a green ceiling anymore. I
Yeah.
have done one there.
That one, that Canamall was fantastic for the community. They had a massive.
I mean, I'm a huge proponent for safe consumption sites for cannabis.
Definitely.
We need it not just for medicinal. So, like, as you know, I very much back Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club.
Yep.
And have for many, many years.
Definitely.
But, man, we need it for recreational as well. We need it for the normal Joe Blows. No one should be having to stand out in the middle of the street to smoke a joint or do their bong or right?
all the places that we have around for living space, most of them don't have spaces to consume in. And condos, we've got no condos that want to have cannabis smoke in the condos, so now you have to have a space for it here. I think that you're correct, and that's what we've been doing for a couple of years now here at 1620, is providing somewhere where people can have a conversation, sit down and smoke freely without the feeling of persecution.
And you see, when you do that, then you're enable people to become more educated.
Yep.
The more that you're able to network, the more that you're able to come together as a community. You're able to network, you're able to help one another as a community. I'm so saddened by our world today because we've lost communities.
Well, how we take that back is exactly what you're doing, is showing the pathway to have the conversation.
Leading the way.
Yeah, leading the
Yeah.
way. And I think that that's how it has to work, because there's so many things out there that are loopholes to keep people in positions. We can show pathways to uplift and step into a new world of thinking, which is it's going to be okay, and it's going to be wonderful because we have the vibrations of the plant medicine beside us.
Well, we have the power to make things the way we want them to be. Right? I used to think manifestation was a freaking joke until it started working.
Yeah, it
Right?
works. It works, and when you put
Is that why your name is Magic?
Might be part of it. I used to think it was because I was good at disappearing, but I don't do that so much anymore, so who knows, right?
Do you find that the sativas help guide you on your manifestations? If it's positive, or do they help give you a perspective of a half full cup rather than half empty?
They don't hurt,
Yeah.
okay? I mean, I did a lot of work to get to be the positive person I am.
Totally.
Back in the 90s, I went back to cannabis. I came back to cannabis again and had a fabulous experience. I was just before midterms, about a month or so before midterms, I decided let's go back to cannabis after about 10, 15 years in NA and other areas trying to get off of it. Mm-hmm. And I says, look, and my grades go down, that's it, quit, forever, that's it, right? Well, my freaking grades went up.
Very good. That's positive results.
And I went, okay, so I'm not going to stress anymore.
Yep.
It wasn't long before I was back to being as chronic as I ever was. Mm-hmm. However, I mean, I used it medicinally, and I believe from day one I used it medicinally. I mean, I had my first withdrawals off of like Valium and shit when I was 8 years old.
Yep.
within the next, say, 3 years, I found cannabis,
Wow.
right?
So started nice, young, and how long was your break?
Like 10, 15 years at least.
And what periods of that?
Early 20s, mid 20s, my angry years.
Yeah. Then the angry years, were you drinking or doing other things?
Oh, hell, I was drinking,
Yeah.
dropping acid, doing
So-
shrooms, doing peyote. I
Yeah,
mean,
so those.
but the thing is, I mean, cannabis has been a part of my life growing up here for my whole life.
Yeah.
Right. I've always been kind of on the it's raised in
it's-
foster home and group home, so I've always been on that side of the tracks.
Are you
I've
from
always been
Victoria?
aware. Raised in Victoria, so grade
Right.
1 up.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. So like I grew up with very lax attitude towards cannabis, and I'm blessed for that. You know, and it was a savior without me realizing it. But I had a lot of behavioral and emotional problems.
Yeah.
And of course, psychiatry wants to shove pills down your throat, and they want to tell you that anything natural is actually the problem, especially when it's illegal.
Now
Right?
being legal and recreational cannabis is everywhere, do you feel that the cannabis opened up your pathways to understanding some of those traumas or the past
The longer,
reflections?
the longer I've been off of psychiatric medication
Yep.
and only taking cannabis, and I don't recommend that for everyone.
Yeah.
It's different
It's a
for
personal
everyone,
view.
right? Things are happening. I'm getting memories, and not just nasty ones. I thought they'd all be nasty.
Yeah.
I'm dreaming something else that was retarded in me.
Yeah.
There's quite a number of things. Yeah, I feel like I feel like I've been given the opportunity to be the person I was meant to be if I hadn't had all the trauma and all the bullshit when I was younger.
So
And so I say,
rebalance.
it's never too late to have a happy childhood,
Very cool.
and that's kind of what I'm doing.
Good. And that is like you're an ecosystem that is getting assistance in the vibration from these different extracts. And then that is renewing your belief in this practice. Or assisting.
Well, let's put it this way. When I was taking psychiatric medication,
Yep.
they never told me to take a tolerance break. So I don't believe in tolerance breaks, with the exception of changing the way you're taking your cannabis.
Yeah.
Okay, so I may quit doing, and I haven't yet, but I may quit doing dabs for a week
Yep.
and just smoke joints or just do edibles.
Okay.
And then, because that is a tolerance break,
Yeah.
that is an interruption of the way that you're
Yep.
that you're taking it, and that it's affecting your system. But because of how severe my illness was supposedly, I don't want to fuck with it, man. And I'm
Yeah.
doing the best now than I've ever done.
Yeah, so it becomes a habit
it's a part
that
of
you
my
just
life.
monitor, and then know you're from the way you are feeling on whether or not you need to do a break or if
I don't
you,
even monitor it much because of being in Narcotics Anonymous.
Yep.
One of the things that I felt coming out of it was if I had to monitor it, then I had a problem with it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I'm very, very fortunate that I've been blessed with many gifts for doing what I'm doing, because the more that I do what I'm doing, the more people who follow it, the more videos I have to make, the more product I'm going through,
Yes.
right? And that's just a fact.
Yep.
That's just the way that works, right? And so, you know, you just do what you can do. One
Yeah.
day I might not be doing it. You
Yeah.
just never know, right?
That's right.
So
How was transitioning off the pharmaceuticals for you?
it took, once I made up my mind, it took about a year.
Yeah.
Because I did it properly. I did it with doctor's help. Everyone knew what I was doing. Everyone knew every time that I slipped and went back to cannabis. I mean, on NA, it took me 15 years to get almost 3 years, because I was a 30, 60, 90 days. I want my,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and
So-
but and your body knew that, and
Yeah.
you're now what they know as your endocannabinoid system
Was
calling
screaming.
for
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
And
It's in your DNA. It's in our. We have
Well, and
receptors.
they've also come to the some scientific studies have come to realize that people with PTSD are lacking some of the cannabinoid receptors in their brain. There may be at some point where they will be able to do a blood test to see whether you're predisposed to having PTSD or not.
Wow.
Because not everyone develops it. You can see the same thing.
Yep.
And not what's one thing for trauma for one person may not be traumatic for the next person.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
And it's good to talk about, like with the fire department, they had sessions that they had to talk about certain situations that happened. So they were looking to whether or not it impact individuals, which I thought was fairly good. But in those situations, you're not a man unless you man up and just handle it, right? So
and gratefully, I think that's changing as well.
it is, but it's the openness to discuss it and have the conversation that can unlock some of the techniques, some of the ways to remove that from people.
Well, that's it exactly, right? Things have to be talked about to be able to remove stigma. I have a shirt, I don't always wear this one, I have
Yeah.
a sweatshirt that has big cannabis leaf on it and it says, I think, 420 Vancouver Island. I love wearing it because I get people around my age coming up and talking to me.
Cool.
People who would never say anything
That's
prior
right.
to legalization.
Yeah.
I love that it opens avenue of communication. I just think that's fabulous.
What kind of questions do they ask, or what kind of comments do you get from people?
I mostly get people coming up and saying, yes, I have been using whatever.
Giving you a
For
high
so
five
long.
or something?
Basically, yeah. I get questions, with what's happened in the city. Do I know where to get? Do I know
Tourists, would you say, or?
some?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm bad. I forget. I had a tourist come up to me in Centennial Square not so long ago asking me where they could get anything. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, do you have a medical? They're like, no. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I don't really know that. And then I go up the street and I went, oh, shit, there's farm.
Yeah, that's right. They're legal, right?
But, that's legal. So
We've full spectrum. We've got a
Sorry.
couple real heal items. We were talking about that. Do you use the cream at all for aches and pains?
sometimes, yeah.
So I'm going to grab some for you there. I'm going to
Sweet.
roll up a raspberry sour diesel.
Nice.
And we keep it in the Miron glass, and as you can smell, it sort of helps protect the terpenes.
Yes.
So we want to craft cure our flour and make sure that we've got this nice fine,
Nice.
fine flour. And I wanted to get you this cream for yourself for muscle
Well, thank you.
and you know what I like, rubbing it in my temple for a full spectrum blast to the dome for the day. And we also have a full spectrum topical, or
That's a
topical,
tincture, isn't it?
Tincture, sorry, that you put under the tongue, and you hold it under your tongue, so sublingually you're getting all the cannabinoids.
What's the...
The carrier oil
Yeah.
is an organic hemp oil for the fats. We don't
Well,
use any.
tinctures used to be
we don't
alcohol, and
use,
I hate alcohol.
Yeah, we don't use
They burned.
any MCT or anything unnatural. This is a specific focus, and it's a full spectrum, so you're getting all the different cannabinoids
Sweet.
that you require. A little tiny bit of THC. I think it's about 2%.
What I preach.
CBD oil. When my daughter, she was living with her father at the time. She was like 13. She went to the doctor. They diagnosed her with depression and wanted to put her on pharmaceuticals, and I was absolutely against it. She came and started living with me, and I put her on CBD oil. Of course, it was like dealing with giving my teenage daughter, and having to gently introduce it to her father, and it's not THC. She's not getting stoned off of it. It's healing. It's actually healing her insides. It's healing her stomach. It's helping her with eating, it's helping her with sleeping, it's helping her with schoolwork,
And it keeps her off of pharmaceuticals.
and it keeps her off of pharmaceuticals.
Poisons.
So what she did then is in her journey is she became educated on it with her own experience and then shared it with her friends.
Well, this is what the old gals in my apartment are looking for.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, you know.
So if
we've
you can
seen-
give me some information on how they can get some,
Well, just
They'll
come in
love ya.
here, come
Okay.
in 1620, and basically we are a private club, so they sign up a membership, and the membership is they get a cedar wood single holder,
okay.
and that cedar wood has essential human oil smells that takes your body and mind to 750 hertz, which is above homeostasis. So the membership card heals you just by smelling it.
Sweet.
And then
The hertz, that's like a
Isn't that
cat.
cool?
Well, purring, right? To
Yes.
be around a cat that purrs, they help you
Yep.
heal.
Yep.
yeah. So then that will get them in the door. They'll be a member of the club, and they can get access to the CBD that it's working wonders with our seniors community everywhere.
See, I have a connection on the other side of the Malahat, but I don't drive, and I'm not
Yeah,
on there,
well,
and they
we
don't come
can-
down. So,
We can deliver this right to your door.
well, I've got a couple of neighbors who'll be real happy to hear that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. I also volunteer at the museum, and I
Which
share the
museum?
Royal Museum.
Oh, cool.
And I share a lot of creams and stuff down there because people are older than me, even that are
That are going in
right.
to visit.
And so again, it's educational,
Yes.
That's what
right? It's how yeah.
That's what we're doing. This show
Right.
is about sharing and showing, and then people can then make their decisions on
Yeah.
what corporations they truly want to support. And the corporations that are out there, a lot of them are big, evil corporations that aren't doing the best things they can for people. So we want to make sure that we support our local, really good people.
I would add educating in there too, Kit.
Yeah.
Definitely. Big time.
So, you got a dab ready to go.
I'm getting ready to do a dab. Yes.
Okay. What flavor?
a dab.
What flavor do we have here?
I think it's called peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Peanut
Oh.
butter breath. Excuse me.
Wow.
It's a sativa dominant hybrid
Yep.
because I didn't bring anything with me. So
And we've got some here.
I picked something up along the way because I thought, I better need something.
Did you say peanut butter breath?
Yes.
this
It sounds delicious.
It's a
Los
rosin.
Angeles, isn't it?
It's a rosin. It's not a shatter. It's a squish.
Oh, cool. And the
And,
difference there is the rosin is a pressed full spectrum extract. It's actually
Yes.
live organic.
It's organic. It's not. You don't use any chemicals.
Is that the one that you prefer for your concentrates? Or what is your
Well,
favorite?
it's kind of crazy because I think I prefer shatters and butters,
Yep.
but I know I say that funny.
The butters, you get the terps. You get,
But
you get
no,
terps.
well, you see, I go for low terps
Okay.
because of my COPD.
Yep.
That's also why I do low temperature dabs.
Okay.
Again, and I tend to do cold starts if I'm using a torch now. I don't heat and cool. I just do a nice cold start. Sometimes it might be a little bit too cool, but that's easy to heat up.
And how you've basically used the temperature and the timing in your experience to come up with this.
Not just me. Yeah, cold starts have been, I guess, the past year.
Okay.
People have come up with the cold start. It's a pain, man. If you're heating your rig up and it takes them over a minute to heat, and then you're waiting for it to cool down anywhere between 45 seconds and a minute and 10 seconds, that's a pain, right? If you could do a cold start within 10, 15 seconds of putting your dab in, you're getting your dab. Right?
And
Very cool.
for
Well, I'm
the
gonna let you
uninformed, a cold start would be putting your shatter into the
You're putting your product in your banger or your bowl or whatever you want to call it.
and then
first,
using the
and then
torch
you're-
right away from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's best if you heat the sides first a little bit so that it won't travel up.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to light this doobie here. This one's a raspberry sour diesel, and we've got a beautiful peanut butter breath, which I think is the genetics are Jungle Boys out of California. I think they created the breaths. I'm not sure. We should get a Google search on that.
I don't know too much about genetics.
Well, the genetics I'm getting really excited about because it's the landrace strains that then can unlock maybe some of these pathways with certain ailments.
Well, when I was asked what my favorite of all cannabis is, the only one that really came to mind for me, and it's very old school, from local-ish, and that's the old Tuxedo Time Warp. The old original Tuxedo Time Warp
Yes.
before it got breeded out and, right? What?
The other kit.
Another fella named Kit created the Tuxedo Time Warp, is what Jeremiah's talking
Sweet.
about. And he was a famous guy around town. Big white beard, rides a skateboard, and always having a party down at Mile Zero every year. Really community-oriented person.
Up until the last 7 years or so, I was pretty sheltered, let's say.
Yep.
I mean, come on, man. I was agoraphobic for many, many years.
You did?
Yeah, I went back to school to learn how to be social. Like that's, you know.
That was part of the growth and healing that you were going through.
I felt like it was a lot safer to go to school than it was to get a job.
And
What
how
did you
old were
take at school?
Yeah.
Criminology. But it took me many years to get there because I'd been kicked out of school in grade 2. I didn't have an academic education. So I actually went back and was taking my upgrading from grade 2 up for some things. And when I did finally pick something, it was criminology. I lasted the first year, which is fabulous. It's learning about why we have the government we have. Mm-hmm. The second year is all policing, and I was not interested in any of that, and I quit.
Well, that would.
However, to be honest, there was a lot of other shit that happened too. I mean, I was going to school during the Gulf War, and it wasn't good for PTSD. Some of the stuff wasn't conducive for someone reintegrating. Right? I guess that's probably the best way to put that.
Or in your schooling, they were getting into stuff about the Gulf War, or just at the
Everywhere
time?
was, yeah.
Oh, I
no.
see.
They had TVs on campus in the rest areas. Almost all the teachers were bringing up stuff. It was horrendous.
Right,
You
right.
couldn't get away from it anywhere.
Interesting.
Let's get a breakdown of this beautiful rig that you brought in and how to use it and show us, I guess.
I just loaded it,
Yep.
and I just put it on. I have to push this little button here twice,
Okay.
and if you can see the lights,
Changing.
it's blinking.
Flickering, yeah.
When it goes solid, I think it'll give me a little vibration.
And what temperature did you say that you like to do a little cooler?
I don't know what temperature it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably find out. This is on the second lowest temperature is what I use. Sometimes the second highest, but second
Yeah.
lowest is.
Getting some
And that's
nice
a
bubbling sound.
huge lung full. That's giving you a big lung capacity. So,
And you can go in on it more than once without it burning the product.
yep.
You can't really do that with anything else. So if you put too big of a dab in and you can't take it all or whatever, you're wasting a lot of your dab.
Yep.
As you can see, I've got a huge pool in there. I'm going to be able to go in on that 2 or 3 more times, easy. Right?
So that lung capacity is actually that's really opening up
Thank you.
your capillaries at the small areas of the deep parts of your lungs.
Well, it's a wonderful bronchial dilator.
Yeah.
I walk around carrying my emergency. I don't use puffers. And my doctor said, yeah, well, if you ever need your emergency, just take a puff. And it's like, I need my emergency. I'm not puffing anything.
Yeah.
Like, I stop, I get shit together. And I guess after that, I probably should take something, but I just don't think about it, right? It's like, okay, I'm breathing again. Let's go.
What is
Right?
that called?
This is called a Puffco.
A
Peak.
Puffco? Peak.
Yes. There are 3 different ones that are out on the market that I'm aware of. I have not tried all 3. I wrote all 3 letters,
Yeah.
no, emails, asking them because I was looking into it. It's a little bit pricier. I mean, I'm on PWD,
What's that?
Persons with disability.
Okay.
So I'm on disability pension.
Yep.
Some people call it welfare,
Yep.
right? And don't want to fuck that up,
No.
right?
Yeah.
But this is a little over $400, I think,
Yeah.
right?
I've never seen anything like that.
The other one they have is called a candy cane,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's close to the same price.
Yep.
And the same with the other one is called a, what is the other one?
And did this company send you this one?
No.
No, you had.
No, Coochie's here in town, the head shop here in town,
Oh, they
Jupiter's,
They gave you this one.
in appreciation.
Wow, that's
Just for
pretty
being
cool.
me, kinda.
Yeah. That's some of the perks.
Look at you manifesting.
Some of the perks. Some of the perks, eh?
It's just and totally unexpected. Like I just,
Well, it's actually a really good sign. They wanted to make sure that you get a really classy tool that can be used to protect
I
your
can
health.
walk down the street and use
That's
this,
pretty
Yeah.
wild.
right?
It's very pretty.
This one glows in the dark. So yeah,
And has the lights.
it has the lights. Yeah.
What are some of the comments that you get on your Instagram? What are the people following you? What's your a group of people? Do they reach out to you? Like what's the messaging that they are?
I get asked for words of, I don't know, from people. I have a very large amount of the LGBTQA. Anything else in there that I'm missing? Community who follows me.
Very cool.
And
So people that are in that community are following you for some leadership and positivity.
just the
or-
positivity. I accept everyone,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
We're all beings.
we're all humans. We're all life forms, man. I mean, I have my own weird belief systems, and the only reason we're the
Weird. Let's go into that.
Okay.
Eh?
The only reason
Miss
we're
Magic has got some weird things going on, but you know what?
I
Most
wanna
of
hear
she
this
has is
weirdness.
magic.
the only reason that we consider ourselves on the freaking top of everything
Yep.
is because we decided. Who's to say that a tree or an ant or whatever isn't actually more highly evolved than we are?
Well, they've
Right.
been here maybe longer.
Yeah, right? Seen more,
Yep.
felt more.
Maybe we are all of it at once.
Well, I'm a strong believer in the interconnectivity.
Yeah.
And of reincarnation. Mr. Einstein gave me that one as a belief.
Cool.
Well, because energy cannot be created nor destroyed.
Yeah. So you're an infinite being with infinite possibilities, and
That's
you're
right.
carrying out this life as this
To the best of my
version.
ability.
That's right.
Yeah.
Boom. We
Yeah.
need more Canadians like yourself. I'm telling you.
Well, I'll tell you that. No, that's something I hear.
What?
Not just Canadians, but people.
People.
Like myself.
Yeah, and I, for some
Right.
reason, I go back to my sport mentality of placing it in nations.
I've been trying really hard to stay away from
I like
anything that makes boundaries.
Yep.
Differences. I mean, I love that we're all different, and I think we should be celebrating our differences rather than on it.
Yep.
And I think we should be reveling in them and learning from them.
I like that perspective.
Because if we were all the same, life would be really freaking boring, and we all know that. We all know that, right? So why do we look at someone and go, "Oh, you're different. Ew, I don't like you because you're different," without even giving a person a chance, right? So that's one of the things that I talk about.
That's a practice that we do here at 1620 as well, is each being that comes in is somebody that is representing a soul. And that perspective gives people a proper outlook to treat others how they want to be treated.
Well, there's that. And you know, in today's society, we hear people say, "Why do I give him any respect? He hasn't shown me. Why? He's got to do something to get my respect. Well, that's a pile of BS.
Yeah.
You should go into every situation as a new situation with your head up high and treating the person with as much respect as you want to be treated with. And if they screw with you, well, then you disrespect them. Then you don't. And then it might take them a long time, if ever, to build that back again.
Yep.
But in the first place, man, you put everyone up here to start with, not down here, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's why we have such a hurting society, is because people have been put down for so long.
It's part of a control mechanism, maybe. I'm just understanding the world around me one step at a time. And what I see is a system that is designed for farming human beings. We are stepping out of this farm with the practices that we do in our micro system, our personal system. And that is the only way I have seen action actually happen, is by doing it by self, and then others follow that lead. So I'm really proud to say that you've got all those followers, because you're showing a practice that can create a new world.
Creating change.
Well, I just know, like, I get asked, are you always that happy? Well, no. And the people who actually know me know when I'm actually struggling to put that positivity out.
Yeah.
But I make a choice every single morning to do a positive video. Like,
Got
that's
something for you.
that's my choice.
You're
right?
setting the intention for the day in a positive manner.
For myself and for my viewers, yes.
Great
Right?
awakening. So I looked at this. We had a neuro-linguistic guy on the show, and we were studying words and our spells and our magic. And I was like, I'm going to remove this morning word from my speech and say great awakening to change the way I and my words created my path.
Change your vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
And
like that good morning. I say good day.
Good day.
Or just hello.
But it's anything.
I say yabba dabba doozy day.
Yes, yeah. That's where it's at. It's anything that you can create, and with people out there, I think it's an important subject, is to look at what makes your life better. Choose those paths.
But look,
I like to tell people to have a supernatural day.
Supernatural.
Yeah.
That's a BC. That's
Yeah.
a BC
Yeah.
slogan.
you tell someone to have a good day,
Yep.
you're just giving them a blessing.
Yeah.
And people don't think about that. I mean, we throw blessings around a lot
Yeah.
and take them for granted.
We're always spell casting.
Yeah.
And people do it unaware.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got to start being more mindful about this shit.
Yep.
Blessings and curses, though, because we also
Both?
do that
Yes.
So how do you-
unintentionally.
but how do you
Well, that's it.
recognize those? What is the way to see yourself in the mirror from your practice? If you don't have good friends around, or if you don't have
Self-awareness.
self-awareness, the senses, or
I mean, if
where's
you're,
the guidance coming from?
well, the guidance.
Who's the
comes from
thinker?
The goddess, God sense, right? Which is the being,
The being.
right? I mean, I honestly believe if you're a shithead, you know you're a shithead.
Yeah.
Okay, even if you're going in it and you've got your little smile on and you look like you're doing good works.
Yep.
If you're a shithead and you know you're a shithead, you know you're a shithead. Okay. Oh, I gave $3 million to St. Jude's Kids Hospital, and in the meantime, your company's out there dumping sludge.
Yeah.
Okay, you know.
So that's the practices of the person.
But that's all part of it, though.
Well, then I think those beings will get their ultimate return karmatically.
But you see, there's your gauge, and some people just don't give a shit. I mean, that's the honest to goodness truth, right? But if you're a shithead, you know you're a shithead. If you don't like how your life is, do something to change it. And don't expect it to happen like that just because you change like that, right? I'm a strong believer in the threefold law.
What's that? That's
Good, bad, or indifferent. Whatever
Yeah.
you put out to the universe comes back threefold.
So how?
So if you've been apathetic
Yep.
and all of a sudden you've decided to get involved with things and nothing's working out for you yet, well, for however long you've been apathetic, it's going to take 3 times that time for things to start feeding back to you once you've done your change.
Gotcha.
Same with if you're doing negative or if you're doing positive.
Yep.
Nothing happens overnight, right? And so you got to keep at it. You got to be mindful. You gotta want it,
Yeah.
right?
That's
I mean,
the-
I changed my life because I wanted to change my life. I didn't like being angry. I didn't like being suicidal.
Yep.
I didn't like being on medicine. And I did everything and anything in my power to change it. And here I am now. So some things worked.
Yeah. And the catalyst was which part? So for people that are viewing that are going through maybe some of these same things, which was the one that gave you the best percentage of assistance or
Housing first.
housing?
Housing first.
Okay.
Yep. Without any expectations.
Yep.
Without I didn't have to sign anything to say I wouldn't use any drugs or be clean. I didn't have to sign anything to say I wouldn't drink. I didn't have to. It was, here is a place for you to be able to be safe. Take as long as you need to get healthy.
Cool.
The stability of a space that you
Proper
can.
housing. Well, that's what that's what the
change it,
developer's
yeah.
talking about doing with this space here.
That's my biggest. I mean, I'm behind a few things. I don't get riled up about too many things. Housing first is one of them.
Yeah.
Cannabis is another one. And of course, living positively, so mental health. Well, all 3 of them are related,
Yep.
right? So it just makes sense that I'm in that. I received housing back in the 80s. I'm grandfathered in. I'm the one who's subsidized.
Yep.
And I'm very blessed with that. I feel so bad. But I mean, not everyone.
Why do you feel bad?
I feel bad for the community out there. There's so
There's
many
a lot.
people that.
But now this, I believe this is Canada's issue because this is the safe sort of place where the people won't freeze outside, so they send people here that are
That's been known to happen for
a while,
decades.
Yeah, and so we
Right.
have a big community of people that are living out there, and I feel bad as well. But what are some of the solutions in this?
Well, you don't need Johnson Streets. You need more integrated housing. But you got to understand too, not everyone is going to do well with the housing. And I mean, I'm a 2 strike and you're out type person. So if you get into housing and you're unable to abide by the rules, and you're destroying property, or you're being loud and disturbing the joy of other people, or
So there has to be a big look at how to find the people that are actually wanting the change, wanting to help, or
no, you give everyone the same opportunity.
yep,
But if they can't, then you have to have something else ready for them, whether they have to be institutionalized, whether they have to be then maybe they get put into one of the Johnson Streets. I mean, as we have it right now, if anyone in Johnson Street, in my mind's eye, anyone in that housing complex there wants to get well, it is a huge upload battle.
Yeah.
Because there's too many people there that don't give a shit.
yep,
And there's too many people there dealing with the same addictions, making it too easy to do.
yep.
That's just my opinion.
Well, it seems like an opinion that you can see by the reality around there. I see it just growing, and this is a Victoria community issue. There's different classes of communities, and this street community is very large at night.
But look
It's
at a
alive.
1-bedroom apartment at $1,200. Who can afford that? The working poor can't even afford that if you're a single person,
This is true.
right? And so people get told, oh, well, just leave Victoria, just leave Victoria.
Well,
Well, what if you're raised here? What if this is your hometown? This is where
then
you
you
know people and you have your
create
It's not
contacts.
much better anywhere else in BC, really, unless you're going to go to some small northern community. And then it's still not even that great.
So
Right?
what do we add in for some of the solutions to these things? We look at food production. We look at creating jobs, keeping the economy here.
Community living.
Community living if it works.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do community living. I wouldn't be where I am if I was forced to live with others.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't
What if it
work.
was the right setting, though?
Maybe. I mean, I like the idea of some of the old concepts that they had back with the beginning of townhouses. Because they were originally, I believe, set up for affordable cooperative type living, yet having your own space.
Yeah.
Right? That maybe, right? I still get really claustrophobic with people. I still get scared that people are going to get to know me too well and are going to hate me.
Well,
but
at least those are fears being expressed, and you can get over those in your practice by meeting a bunch of good people.
well, that's it, right?
Yeah,
But core beliefs, they're hard to change.
definitely.
They're really, really hard to change.
And some of the things those are what protected you through your traumatic events, and then it's a block. It's still there because it does protect you.
And I mean, that's why I'm, let's say, proactive with certain things. That's why, one of the reasons I do the videos.
Yes.
See, when I started doing Instagram, you couldn't do videos.
Oh.
And
So did you do pictures or
Yeah.
no? Yeah.
yeah, my niece posted the first picture, got me up on Instagram.
Cool. How old
And-
is she?
She's not allowed to watch my videos yet.
Oh. Wow.
I mean, she is allowed, but she's not of age yet.
Yeah. She was the director of productions.
Can we get your Instagram one more time, just for the
It's
viewer?
Missmajick1.
Okay.
Missmajick1.
Oh, you actually have it on your shirt there. Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
here's where I'm looking. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to wrap up in a maybe about 10 minutes here. So maybe
Awesome.
just we can
Cover some more.
we can just
subjects.
cover a few more
we
things.
rocked
And then,
it. I loved it. It was a real conversation about some of the realistic challenges we have in the city and in self. And
Well,
nobody,
you got to understand, okay? Yes, I'm a cannabis advocate. Yes, I'm a cannabis activist. No, I don't think cannabis is for everybody. And I'm really upfront about that. I've run into a lot of activists and advocates who would get really upset with hearing that. But it's like any medication. It's like anything. Nothing works for everyone.
No.
Right?
True.
And so my thing with cannabis is I really, really wish that the medical profession would offer it as a first off rather than a last resort.
Yeah.
There needs to be education in the Western medicine world here, for sure.
Big time.
Yeah.
What's happening now really reminds me a lot of back in the 70s when the government tried to outlaw herbs, chamomile,
Wow.
and stuff
Oh,
like
my
that. Because vitamins, right?
Yep.
Because they couldn't be patented, which is the same reason why they have problems with cannabis. You can't patent cannabis. You can patent your products, but you can't patent your bud.
Yeah.
It's a plant, right?
And-
It's whatever domain, public domain, whatever it is, right? And so the government was pissed because people out there were harvesting, going out and they were doing their harvesting of
heating.
different, and the government wasn't making money off of it, right? Like this. So they tried to outlaw them. Didn't work.
Outlaw chamomile.
Yeah,
Herbs.
herbs.
What the?
It was an attack on the
Healing herbs.
The vibrational clarity of
It was
your-
around for maybe a year or two. They targeted people.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Well, the practices that we see from our government is to govern a nation, like you said, with borders and Canada, rather than a person and an ecosystem that is separate from that kind of control.
No, I think our government's forgotten that they're supposed to represent the people.
That's right. So how do we
And,
change that?
Yes.
Well, I think we're seeing stuff happen. And in all honesty,
Yep.
if you're like me and you live in an apartment building and stuff, I'd be really fucking scared. Because without electricity or fireplaces, we're screwed,
Yeah.
right? And I see a revolution on the horizon, possibly,
Yeah.
in this country. City people are going to be screwed. City people, yeah, there's going to be some problems going on.
Definitely
Right.
challenges in every day.
And so what we need is, again, so communities are going to have to come together, and like-minded people are going to have to come together.
Unity.
And unfortunately, the assholes are going to show their faces again, too. Just as what's happened in our cannabis industry in the past year with legalization, with people trying to pass off stuff that hasn't been flushed or hasn't been this.
Yeah.
And it hasn't just been the government doing that, unfortunately, right? People and
Just today.
people-
Just today we did this.
so you know what? Yeah, okay.
I just smoked 3 joints that were
Subpar.
testers, and what it was teaching the farmers how and why they're getting an unflushed product, and then that's the solution. So I'm looking to a system that will create better practices and education down the line to the farmer.
But right now, all the farmers that have not all the farmers, excuse me, a lot of the farmers that have the information already
Yeah.
are being shut down.
They've actually raided and gone in
Well,
and shut down,
no,
or
but
the farmers shutting down.
you know what's going on.
Yep.
If you don't have your MMAR, but if you've been in the industry for generations, even I know
Yes.
people who've been in it for generations,
Yep.
they're not being given any opportunity in today's climate. Now, I understand things are changing a little bit.
Yeah.
I do know that craft cannabis is starting to have some
Well.
opportunities, and maybe they were there all the time and
Yep.
shrouded,
Yep.
but it's still not. If you're someone who they decided in the past 2 years that they were going to give a hard time to,
Yep.
then they screwed your chances, period.
Totally. That's I think by design again.
Oh,
So I have the ability to hold this position here through my practices, and my practice is craft, and to look to the current economy. So the craft farmers
Yeah.
as the current economy, and that must be protected by law. So this integration or possibility must include the current growers. And what we have at 1620 is a collective of farmers to ensure that this economic value for the country of Canada isn't disturbed. They've already taken BC bud and put it in a gutter and put it in plastic and distributed it to the globe in a unprofessional fashion, destroyed many people's bank accounts through pump and dump schemes, and have taken it now to a level of harming the Canadian economy. This level,
Yeah.
this level of harm will have retribution, and the retribution will be the small craft farmers of Vancouver Island are somehow protected and instilled.
got to do better than that. We got to do of Saskatchewan. We got to
Well,
do,
of course.
you know, of
I'm
Canada,
focusing
but
on
yeah.
my locals.
I hear you there, yeah.
We've got a big task at that, day to day.
But you know, for the past 5 years, people have been doing that. Canada Grow. People tried to get
I've-
something to work,
I've
right?
only focused on this place. I've taken the time to do discipline acts of ocean swimming and oyster eating only to remove plastic consumption, to keep my mind's ability to hold space. This space, 1620, is a craft collective of farmers. It's a bank. It's a Vancouver Island bank that will compete against the country and its false system of medicinal practices.
Well, this is good.
Yes. So we have more than hope. Hope is a false thought of the future. We have something here.
You're doing something. You're being proactive.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's not me. It's the community
Yeah.
that is built here, and that community will change practices with the law on its side. And that's what I want to integrate as my message and get that message out there, because a lot of people have questioned how and why and what. And the how is I've studied the art to find this path, and I'm going to continue it because it's necessary. A government shouldn't practice what they do, and new government needs to happen.
Definitely.
And I see that we're going into changes big time.
Yeah.
I just see that, right?
It's exciting.
I think we're going to wrap up on that today.
Cool.
That's
Thank
good with
you.
everybody. Thank
Right
you very
on.
much for being on the show. So at Missmajick1 on Instagram and Facebook, is that correct?
Miss Magic Shatterfairy on Facebook.
Okay, Missmajick
My
Shatterfairy.
Miss Magic 1 is my page on on Facebook, so it's kind of
And is that a magic with a C or a K?
Majick.
J-I-C-K. There we go.
Yes.
Okay, so the
It's a
J
name,
and
not a place, not the magic.
Miss
food.
Magic.
and then the number month. So M-I-S.
Cheers, the
S-
green apple Jones.
M-A-J-I-K-1.
MISSMAJICK1.
There we go. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Sunshine Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
It's a
We're gonna be
pleasure
having,
meet you, Miss Magic.
Sunshine Brown
Thank you.
on just solo here with us in a few days, a few weeks, a week, I should say.
A week next,
And
next week.
Kit, thank you very
you.
much.
I like how we
Follow us on at
real
1620
subjects. It was a side that I
High Noon.
People don't see
And
me very
please-
but they
often.
need to see that, and that was
Visit
awesome.
1620podcasts.com.
I was raised here.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So
Signing off.
I'm